Okay, so the part we're taking a look at today is how you fill out the project report dashboard for your BUS 322 class. And we're going to look at practice project 4.1, which is all about the Death Star. So there's a new planetary defense system. We're codenaming it the Death Star, right? And we have to get this done fairly quickly. We have to secure the plans. We have to assure safe access, so on and so forth. We have developed a timeline and a network diagram before this, so we know what we have to do. And we've decided to go with an outside vendor. However, we're aware that some rogue agents are trying to steal the plans. And so we want to make sure that we have this up and running before that actually happens. So your senior manager, under the direction of Grand Moff Tarkin, has told you that you need to develop a rudimentary timetable. Tell us when this is going to happen. So the Excel spreadsheet with the activities, the descriptions, and the durations and predecessors are already done for you, right? So I'm going to show you how you put each one of those together. And I'm going to also assume that we're going to take the necessary holidays and weekends off. And then we're going to take a look and see if this can actually be done within the time frame allotted, okay? So here where it says on the screen, can everyone see the Excel sheet on the screen for me? Yes or no?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we see that. So my project name is Project Death Star, right? So we're just going to put that in here, right? Make sure you capitalize it. Okay. Now, and we put in today's date, which of course is 04/07/2020, right? And if you have these hashtags, it simply means that you need to increase the size of your piece here. So I forgot to put this in correctly, 04/07/2020, like that, okay? Or of course, you can put in equals today, all right?
You should do this on May 4th.
Yeah. So that's the completion date, right? We have to have it done by then. So your kickoff meeting, right? How long is that going to take? Well, we already have that built in there, so we're just going to leave that in. All of these things are a rudimentary Gantt chart, right? So we had the meeting, objectives, requirements, hardware requirements, so on and so forth, and then finally the launch date, all right? So all I'm asking you to do is come down here. You will take these and you're set off your kickoff meeting and so on and so forth. You put each one of those pieces in there, okay? All right, now notice that today's date does not coincide with the same date that you have started the project, all right? So let's say, for instance, the kickoff meeting, right? So that's going to be assigned to Tarkin himself, agreeing on the objectives, that's Tarkin, detailing the requirements, that's Vader, right? That's his responsibility. Okay, hardware requirements, that's Vader, and then you'll just put Lieutenant whomever or Colonel whomever, so on and so forth down the line. So in your particular project, you're actually going to tell me who's doing that part, right? Right. Okay. All right. Something like that. Okay. And then so each of your pieces has a duration number right here. Okay. So you've got the duration in days. It's going to take you 6 days, 7 days, so on and so forth. And yes, I know that the Death Star would take much longer than this, but we're just using this as an example. Okay. So then you pull each one of them down if you want to make changes. So right now we said set off the kickoff meeting. That's going to take 6 days. So when you hover over that, it tells you kickoff meeting value 6, right? If you look at the testing, that takes 18 days. So when we come down to testing, we see that that takes us 18 days. So whatever the duration is here will correspond to those things that pop up to the Gantt chart up here. Make sense? Okay. Now, for your in progress, right, you'll say we've completed each section, so on and so forth. So in this particular one, notice that there is only a pull down menu, right? Do not override the pull down menu. Simply pull it down and then you put which pieces in there. So the kickoff meeting has been completed, right? The Staffing, however, is overdue, right? So if you were to change that and you look to your task status, you can see that one of them is overdue, right? So about 8% of the project is overdue, part of it's on hold, so on and so forth. If I change this to in progress, you'll notice that the task status will change as well, okay? Also notice that the color changes because I have the color codes over here to the right already, okay? And then when you look at your priority, it's the things that need to be done immediately, and that's where the task priority comes in. So the kickoff meeting is the high priority, other things are low priority. I would think at this point that the staffing, because it was actually overdue, would be a high priority, and it is. So far, so good? Okay. Now, this task status down here takes each of these and it says count them if it's complete or so on and so forth. And so that's where you get the count of each of these. Task priorities does the same thing for the priorities. And all you have to do, or all we would do if we were in this particular case, and say, here's our budget, right? So we're going to say $80 million. Okay, let me blow that up a little bit so you can see it a little better on the screen. So you say it's going to be 80 million, right? And we have done, say, 65 million toward the production of this. And so when we come up and we look at our budget versus actual numbers here, we can see that they are scaled off the scale. That's because the budget only goes from 20 to 90. And so in order to fix that, I'm going to simply right click, format that axis, and that number is going to go from 20 million to 100 million. Okay. And it gives me a little bit better budget. Now you see the numbers are all crunched together. Your project's going to be somewhere between $0 and $100. So it's not going to be a big deal. And then finally, when we come here to the pending items, right? So you have 5 decisions that need to be made, 2 action items, and 4 change requests. I'm going to take these and I'm going to add data labels to them so that we can see the data labels as well. Okay. So adding those data labels actually makes it easier for us to understand. All right. Now, this thing over here where it says blank project workbook, leave that alone. All right. And just simply use your project task here to make sure that that fits together. You got it?
Question.
Yes.
Why are we doing 2 of these?
Because I need you to present me 2 time frames to tell me where you are on the project.
But they're within
This
a
is to
week.
give you, I don't care if it's less than a week apart. This is to give you practice on how you're going to do your project report. One member of your team is going to do it one week, and another member of the team is going to do it on another week. You got it?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, that can either be in person or it can be virtual. That means you can come and you can screen record and you can upload it for me if you want to, or you can do it in person, right? So if we add data labels here, it will also tell us the duration in days of each of those pieces. You see that? Okay. So now let me go over with you how you would make some changes for your particular project. Okay. So the first thing you're going to do is you will come here and you will change, not there, but you will come here and in the table, right? All of this stuff up here, leave it alone. Any of these graphs and charts are automatic, leave them alone. You'll simply come to the task name and you will tell me what the task name is, okay? So you just simply put them in, who it was assigned to, and what date you started it, what date you ended it, and then the date and duration will take care of itself. You got it? Then you'll tell me if it's complete, overdue, or in progress, what the priority is, and then give me your budget numbers. So if your budget is, say, $100 and you spent $60 on the project, you are 60% in your budget. And that will now give you this chart here, which I will then, you'll have to format the axis to be whatever you said it was going to be. So it's going to be 0 to 100, okay? So if we do 0 to 100, right, and then I add my data labels for that, I can see that I've got $60 spent and $100 planned, so I'm approximately $60 toward my goal. But here I am 72% complete, so that's good. That means I'm 72% complete and I've only spent 60 out of $100. That means I'm doing well, okay? So that's what I want to see.
How do you do this on the iPad?
I wouldn't do this on the iPad. But if you do choose to do it on the iPad, all you have to do is pull each of those pieces in. The reason why I wouldn't do it on the iPad, or why it's difficult to do on the iPad, is because changing that axis on the iPad is nigh on impossible, right? So that makes it a little difficult. Everything else should be fine, but that one thing will be a little bit of a pain in the tuchus.
Hey,
So,
Joe.
yes.
I'm sorry if you've already gone over this, but you see on that first graph, the one at the top, what's
The
the
task
reasoning?
timeline.
Yeah, what's the reasoning for the different shading of the colors? Is that priority?
So these are completed,
Okay.
right? These are in progress and these are still to be completed.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, because our graph across the top goes from 1230 to 218, we're going to have to change that as well. So when you put in your dates here, this graph is going to change. And so you're going to have to right click, format the axis, and you're going to have to change it to the correct date. If you put in the actual date, it will change it to the minimum codes for you. And if you struggle with that, let me know. I'll be more than glad to show you how to do that. Okay? All right. So do we have any questions or comments about that? Do we have any, but again, I'm going to go over it with you to make sure that you understand how to do it and what is expected of you. So if you do need any extra help, I'll be more than glad to provide that for you. All right. So one more time. Step 1, come down to the dashboard data and put in the task names. Assign the date, the person, and then put in the start dates so that everything else gets filled in. Step 2, tell me whether it's completed and what the priority is. All right. Step 3, you'll come up and you will adjust your date timeline and the budget so that they actually fit on the screen. And the way you do that is right click, format axis, and you'd say, okay, so today we started on March 1, so we're going to put 03/01/2020, okay, and we're going to finish on 05/03/2020, okay. When I come down now, if I change this, all right, so now my date is going to be and this is going to take me 3:06.
Still step 3.
So now my duration is here, right? Okay. And so now that pops up and it has it on the screen. So you're asking me what's the step? So what I'm telling you is by the time you get here, you should already be done with step 3. Step 4 is for you to adjust this timeline. That way, when you put these numbers in, you'll have that together. Do you follow what I'm saying there?
Yeah, so are we doing the same thing? Basically, you said we're doing the same thing basically, or we're doing one at a time?
I don't know what that means, so you'll have to tell me a
Are we
little
doing
more.
both of them at the same time, or are we doing one next week and we're making a second one the following week?
You should make a second one the following week because you should have made progress within that week and make changes.
Okay, and despite the due date saying Sunday, it's really you grade it when we actually present it. It's not actually due on Sunday. It's just
That is correct. And I'm going to ask you to please let go of those due dates for the duration of the semester.
okay.
All right. It's when you get it done. Now, when you get this done, you still have to present this the following week. Okay. This one, for this particular one, I'm asking you to try to get this done as quickly as possible. If you cannot get it done, you need to let me know so that we can figure out a way around that. You got me? I just need to know what your progress towards your projects is. And so the progress report is due on April 12 and then on April 19. For these two, I need you to get it done on time. But for everything else, you can take your time on. Got me? Does that answer your question, Cole?
Somewhat, yeah.
It's not somewhat. It either answers it or
Yeah,
it
it
doesn't.
does.
Okay. So you need to have your first progress report due for next week. And then the next one is due the following week. Okay? Now, honestly, this shouldn't take you that long because you already have your Gantt chart done, right? Okay, so all you have to do is take the material from the Gantt chart and put it here, and everything else falls into place. You follow me? So let's use yours as an example.
Okay.
Pull up your Gantt chart.
Pull it
Right.
pull it up where? On screen share?
No, wherever you can find it. You're going to read off the numbers to me, right?
Okay, one
Okay.
second. You mean ID numbers, Joe?
Nope, I don't want the ID numbers. Just be patient with me. Let me pull this up with you. Okay. Okay, so you've got ideation, project charter, bought the template, created the backend, assigned tasks, write text, determine pricing, adding photos, so on and so forth, right? Correct?
Yeah.
All right. So you just put in ideation here, okay? The next one is project charter, okay? The next one is template. And then backend, assign tasks.
Hey, if we need additional
Okay.
ones, can we add them or no?
Yes. Text, pricing. You shouldn't have these many, but I'm gonna let it go. Like you've stretched it out a little bit, but I'm gonna let it go. Okay. All right, and then design website. Okay. Proofing. And I'm gonna end up finalize, publish. Okay. And then to add, if those of you who don't know, to add another one, you simply come here, right? You'd right click and insert, and it would shift everything down. Okay, so we'd take publish and put it here. And then we would go to final report.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, something like that.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to put Kessler's name for everything, although I know other people did it because I just want to fill that in. You got it?
Do
When
you
did you
want
finish?
last names?
Yes, I want who was responsible for it.
No,
When
last
did you?
name, not first name.
I don't care one way or the other. You can put whatever name, right? When did you finish the project?
When do we
When did
finish?
you start on the ideation?
Ideation.
That's in your Gantt chart.
Where in again?
Look up at the Excel sheet.
Oh, 3-1.
Right. Okay. All right. All right. So, okay. So all you really need to do is adjust these dates here until they match the duration dates that you have for the most likely scenario. So this would have been 0302, right? Comma 02. All right. Okay. So that took 1 day. All right. The next one, the project charter Looks like it took 3 days. So you started that on 03/03/2020, and you ended that 3 days later, right? Now, which would be 03/06/2020. Okay, so on and so forth all the way down. Go ahead.
No, I said makes sense.
All right. Then your template would be 03/07/2020, and that would have been done 03/08/2020, right? Okay. So now you got 1, 3, and 1, which matches your duration on your chart. All right. Now, when we come up to the top and we look at our dashboard, you can see that I have a 1 and a 3 and a 1 with a day in between each piece. You got me?
Yeah.
To get rid of that gap, all you would have to do is, if you choose to do so, say, okay, well, we started the project charter as soon as we were done with ideation. So that would be 03/02/2020, and we finished it 03/05/2020. Got it? And then this one would be 03/07. Okay, like that. So then you'd end up with your chart that looks like this, and now the numbers are right there. So this is going to end up looking like a Gantt chart, but it will not have the critical path and all of that stuff on there. You got me?
And what do we put for date at the top? Just the date we presenting?
The date that you're making the presentation, right?
Okay.
So that'd be what, the 14th or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. You will fill in project status. You'll either say it's on time, it's ahead of schedule, or it's behind schedule. All right. And that will be based on this. If the percentage complete is higher than the amount that you've spent, then you're ahead of schedule. If it's below, then you're behind schedule. And if it's exactly on, then you'll say it's fine, that it's dead on. You got me?
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions before I stop the recording? Anybody else have any questions?
And do we
come
choose
over and
or do you choose?
say that again?
Do you call one of us to present, or do we get to choose? Who in a group
You can
does?
choose whomever, but whoever does it the first week cannot do it the second week.
Okay.
So I need at least 2 of the members of your group. Now, some of you have decided to go your own way. You'll have to do it twice. I understand that, all right? Okay. However, it shouldn't be that hard, because all you're going to do, once you have all that in there, to do the second one, all you have to do is change the status number, right? Okay, now we're done with this. So for instance, if I were to come back and I were to do the next week and say, okay, this that was overdue is now in progress. And these that were in progress, that's now complete. And this one that was on hold is, we're going to change to in progress, and then you can move forward with your life. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so then what that does is it allows you to take a look at each one of these pieces. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Any other questions before we move on?
Any chance you could send it to me, or no?
It's going to be on the video.
No, since you already put half the stuff in there.
Yeah, I know. How about you send me $20 for consulting fee, and then we'll talk.
How you prefer Venmo, or would you like your money sent?
Yeah. I want $20 worth of toilet paper. You gonna make that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, right now at today's price, that's only about a quarter of a roll. So that ain't really a lot of 20, All right. How about we charge a case of toilet paper? How much, gang, how much should I charge Cole in terms of toilet paper? Let me stop recording this before I go in.